Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Excited to be here. I think we've sponsored this event for a couple of years now. Um, my name is Maca, and my last company was a UX design boot camp. So we helped people how to design apps and websites and then help them find jobs. So very familiar with kind of the work that you all are doing. Today I'm going to talk about how to survive and win in today's job search. I'm sure a lot of you are either looking for internships or your first full-time opportunity. So that's kind of what I'll be covering today, and then I'll be sharing the tool that I built to help you all look for jobs for free. So if I share my screen here, can you all see my screen? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I think, maybe we start with the reality that we're all feeling, and that's that, the process of finding a job is no longer built for humans. Um, and this is kind of what we hear every single day from job seekers. Like it feels like I'm sending my resume into a black hole. It's like having a full time to just find a job. Every rejection chips away at your confidence. You need 3 years of experience for an entry level job. How does this make sense? Um, I've applied to hundreds of jobs, nothing to show for it. Um, my screen. Uh, it's not just every rejection chips away at your confidence, and AI filters are, filtering out a resume before a human even sees it. So it doesn't just feel bad, it is bad. The job market is not great right now. So let's just put some numbers to it. Around 35% of job seekers say an employer never acknowledges their application. Uh, Worst case scenario, you're applying up to 400 to 750 applications. 40% say they get ghosted after a second or third round interview, and the average applicants per job posted is about 1,000 applicants. The typical success rate per application is like a 0.1% to a 2%. So you're not crazy for feeling defeated. The system has just become deeply inefficient. It's not you, right? The game has changed, but no one really told you the new rules. People tend to blame themselves. They think maybe my resume is not strong enough, or I'm not qualified, or I need to try harder. But this is the truth, right? The game has changed. Hiring has quietly shifted into a world where software data and automation decide who gets seen first. And the problem is that us as job seekers, you all are still playing by the old rules, which is like tweaking your resume, writing cover letters, manually applying to jobs. So if you've been feeling stuck, it's typically not for a lack of effort. It's just using an old playbook for a new game. So before we dive into how to win again, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and my co-founder. Alex and I have spent the last 5 years helping over 5,000 people find jobs. We started in UX design, which is why we love this event. We coached people how to break into tech. We helped recent college grads, people that were transitioning from other careers. And what started as mentoring turned into a mission to actually fix the hiring process. So no longer did we want to just teach people how to design apps and websites, but we wanted to fix the system. We saw how incredibly talented people doing everything right, like coming to these events, kept getting stuck in a system that just wasn't built for them. Um, so, why you should listen to what I'm about to share. These are all real people that we've coached, supported, and learned from. They come from every single background you can imagine. Some were career switchers, some were fresh grads, some had 10 years of experience, but they all had one thing in common, and that was that they were trying to navigate a job market that wasn't playing fair. And what we learned from helping them is that small changes in strategy, your job search strategy, can make a massive difference in outcomes. So these are just some of the companies where our people have been hired, from CBS to JP Morgan, Accenture, Norwegian Cruise Line, if you're a cruise person, Wanderly, all of these different companies. I think we have a couple more here. And these aren't just success stories, they're proof that even in a system that may feel broken, it's still possible to win if you know how to play strategically. So that's kind of what I want to walk you through next. It's how how the best candidates are adapting to this new kind of hiring reality that we're in right now. So, what actually works today is persistence. Honestly, most people stop way too early. They send about 20 to 30 applications, they get discouraged, and then they assume it's them. But in reality, the people who are landing interviews right now are the ones who keep going. They show up even when it's frustrating, because the truth is that it is a numbers game. You can't get seen if you don't stay in the game. The second thing is, persistent only works if you're being smart about it. So it's not just apply everywhere and hope. It's smart targeting, focusing on roles that actually match your skills, your experience, and even keywords in your resume. Every application should feel intentional, not random. You're not trying to get a job, you're trying to get the right job. And finally, resilience. This one's hard because rejection sucks in every aspect of life. But the people who are succeeding today are the ones who take those rejections and turn them into feedback. They adjust their approach, they keep experimenting, they don't let a no define them. They treat the job search like a process, not like a final verdict. So, with knowing that these are three really like broad things that I'm sharing right now, um, let's just quickly switch and talk about technology for a second here. So, this is the part that's changed. Here's what the hiring side looks like, right? Recruiters and companies are using systems like Lever, Greenhouse, Workable, all powered by algorithms and filters that rank and prioritize candidates. These systems use AI in one way or another to decide whose resume is seen first, who gets an email, who moves on to the next step. Um, Once you understand that, you can start using your own AI tools to match that level of efficiency. So I'm not saying that AI is automatically reviewing all resumes, humans are not in the loop. I'm just saying that these tools have been built to help recruiters go through their process much faster, which means your application materials get seen a lot less or for a lot shorter amount of time. So if they're using AI, how can we, use AI tools on the job seeker side to save time and remove busy, repetitive work, such as the applying part, like navigating to company website and putting in the same information over and over again, the formatting of your resume, the rewriting, all the stuff that like burns hours but isn't truly like moving you forward. So, um, you can do things like take a job description, create a custom resume and a custom cover letter. Um, and I guess I want to show you how the tool that I've built helps with this. So, um, the tool is called Jack. If you go to search for jack.com, when you sign up, you'll create a profile and set up your account. This profile could technically be the last job application you ever fill in. It has things like how much money do you want to make, your professional links, your resume, your work experience, etc. Once you fill out your profile, what we do as a company is we look at every company website out there right now and pull the jobs that are being posted every couple of hours. So for product design, I'm going to skip these that say interviewing now. So we know actually which jobs are interviewing because we know that someone that using Jack is getting an interview. And we know jobs that were posted 8 hours ago, um, 13 hours ago. So you can like specifically be looking at jobs, and all of these are from the company website. So if you click here, click view original posting, you'll see the actual job on the company website. So why is that important? We're not just LinkedIn Easy Apply. It may feel that easy, but it's not. Like we are actually pulling jobs from the company websites, which if you all know, that's the jobs that if you apply, you're more likely to get an interview. So how this works is once your profile is set up, it's pretty easy. Let's say I know this is like a higher level job, so not necessarily an entry level, but I see that this job was posted 2 days ago and they're already interviewing at Adobe. Let's say I wanted to apply. I could click here, apply to all selected, and that's it. Basically, I could go to application history. I see the job is in progress. And what this happens is it's a Workday application. I don't know if you all are familiar with Workday. It's a nightmare. So it's creating a Workday account for me. It's going to create a custom cover letter and a custom resume, navigate to the company website and submit an application for me. So all of that is completely done. You can see here maybe one of my other applications. It created the cover letter, it created the resume, and it even creates an interview guide if that's what you want. It creates questions and answers based on your profile. So the entire idea is that you can come on here very quickly, see which jobs are interviewing, click select all, narrow down your filters, whether, you're looking for someone that sponsors a job that sponsors visa, minimum salary, industries you want to work in. And if I wanted to, I could click apply and submit 63 applications with one click. Um, I'm not going to do it because this is a real account and I'm actively submitting applications. Um, but that's how our system works. The entire idea is that we're allowing you to automate your job application process so then you can spend time doing things like, this design-a-thon, reaching out to people on LinkedIn in like a real personalized way, going to events in real life, and really networking and bettering yourself to become a better designer instead of spending 10, 20, 30 hours a week applying to jobs. Um, Another cool feature we have is autopilot. You can come in here and say, hey, I'm, looking for a design job, or maybe UX research. Maybe you're even open to a graphic design job and you're looking for entry level. You can put the locations you're interested in. Maybe you just want a US remote job, and then companies you want to not work at, etc. And then select 100 jobs a day. And what this does is every single day it looks at jobs posted within the last 24 hours and automatically applies to them for you so that you don't have to even come in here and select them. So the entire idea here is we're helping you submit more applications. Hopefully, they're targeted applications for jobs you do want. All of your emails come and stay in your inbox within Jack. You're able to filter by application confirmations, assessments, interview requests, job offers, rejections. If you don't ever want to see rejections, we hide them. You don't have to see them anymore. Um, you can see your application history, and there's a bunch of ways to earn free credits. Let me see if I can show you all. Um, so credits are free. There's obviously I've claimed all of the different ways to earn credits, but if you watch a quick video, you get 20 credits. If you learn how to use the app, 20 credits. If you join a workshop, if you follow us on LinkedIn, and each credit is one application. So the idea is you could apply to like hundreds of jobs. Like once you hit 100, we'll give you 50 more credits. So we really want you to learn how to use the app, use these credits, and then keep getting more to continue applying. So that's a little bit about Jack and why we built it. Um, so just back to the presentation. The the key mindset shift is that technology isn't meant to replace your effort, it's meant to amplify it. And the people who are winning in today's job search are the ones who use tools to automate the repetitive stuff, but still show up fully for interviews, conversations, and networking, right? So you're not just using these tools and then not showing up and not doing your work, but rather you're spending time preparing, maybe going above and beyond for that first interview, having really great questions, not just some, chat GPT slop that you didn't pre-read before you got to your interview. So you can use AI and these tools like Jack as your assistant, not necessarily your replacement in this process. Um, the job search is going to test your patience more than your ability. The people who win are the ones who stay in the game long enough for their, shot to come through. Um, Every rejection, every ghosted email, every ghosted anything, it's just a part of the math, right? Each no brings you closer to a yes, and your only job is really to just keep showing up. Um, and I guess because, for those of you that did show up today, we want to make that a little bit easier. So if you use this code, you'll get an extra 100 application credits for Jack, and you'll be able to start submitting those applications. So you could sign up in less than 10 minutes, upload your resume, we extract all the information and turn on autopilot. And while you're on this in this design-a-thon, you can have Jack working for you, submitting applications for you in the background. Um, so this is our way of helping. Thank you all for joining and for listening. If you all have any questions, feel free to reach out. I think I'm in the Slack channel. If not, I will join it right after this. And we're also hiring um, for a design job, design internship. It's New York based, but if you all are interested, please apply. I will be interviewing and going through the process as early as next week. We want to get kind of this role filled ASAP. So if you're interested in participating and helping us kind of define the future of applying to jobs and the future of work, please apply and feel free to reach out on LinkedIn as well. Any questions? Most of the session is supposed to be Q&A and helpful and targeted to you all, maybe talk about internships or, first time opportunities. I'll stop sharing now. Yes, if there's no questions, happy to chat with you all on LinkedIn if you all want to reach out. Maybe someone just came off mute. Is that right? Clara? Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Could you talk more about how Jack kind of creates resumes and cover letters for you that is both catered from to your experiences, but also how um, they are catered towards the job that you're applying to? I'm kind of curious about that.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe I'll go back to sharing my screen. It's a great question. Okay. So there's a couple things that we do. In your profile, you're adding things like your education and your work experience, and the biggest part is these open-ended questions. So depending on the type of job that you tell us you want, we are asking you some specific open-ended questions that we think are helpful in writing those cover letters and like tailoring your resume. So there's a long list of them. Close to 26 for design, I think is what I have selected. And the idea is that you spend some time, I mean, you can click this button and have AI generate them, but the idea is that you spend some time actually writing on here things like what your hobbies are, things you're interested in. Like, for example, I would write that I play a lot of sports. I play basketball, I play pickleball. Um, I'm weirdly obsessed with Taylor Swift, like typical millennial person here. And I would write all of that on here, which sounds weird to say, but the reason we do that is because if then there's a sports app or there's a music app or there's some sort of company, we can take that information and use it to make your cover letter different, right? And to take something that's not in your resume, right? I don't have that I play sports on my resume. I don't have that I love music and love going to live events, etc. So we're able to take these open-ended questions, and the way that our different prompts work is we take all of your profile, which includes these questions. We take the job description and the JD. We enrich that to find information about the company, the news, things that are happening for that company. And then we look at, additionally, which applications you are getting interviews for. So we look at previous cover letters we made for you and resumes we made for you and use that to see, okay, what did we use in those that we can keep using because those are leading to interviews. So it's a pretty complex process in terms of like how we create them. But we take this data, the job data, enriched data, data about how you're succeeding using Jack to land interviews, and then use that to create the assets. So you can see that even my Adobe application is still in progress, and that's because those assets are still being created. We have a queue that then goes through, makes sure we have the newest Adobe information. We have my information, we know which jobs I've gotten an interview for, and we're able to generate those. Um, Before we started the company, we spent probably about 8 months only working on cover letter prompting. Like, that was the first feature we released before we could even actually submit applications, like before we had built that out. So I love that you asked that question because it's super important to us. We want to make sure that one, your cover letter is not like flagged as, oh, this was written by AI, that it feels human. And then two, that we're using all of this data to make something that hopefully a real person would read. And it's not just AI processing the information on the other side. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much. That's awesome.
Same thing on the resume. Like, we have about 12 different resume templates. So based on um, each time you create a resume, it's a different one. So you can see this is one template. Um, this is probably a different one, or maybe it looks the same. But basically, we randomize which templates we use, um, so that, and we kind of sort through these so no one ever catches on that like you're using AI to create these. And we change the bullets and the information to match your experience and what they're asking for without lying, without hallucinating any information. But we try and match the tense, the type of experience. If you say you have experience wireframing and they're saying, oh, you need mock-up experience, we kind of do take the assumption that maybe if you know how to wireframe, you know how to mock something up, or maybe it means the same in that context. And we're able to kind of change little things like this that then help you get more interviews. Our job seekers get 4 times more interviews than the traditional job seeker that is applying on their own. The job market right now is at about a 1% interview rate, and our job seekers are about 3.8%, so almost 4% interview rate.
Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions?
Oh, there's a question in the chat from someone.
Yeah, are you able to see what it creates before or after submitting? You can see it after it's been submitted. So we don't let you like manually approve it, but after it's been submitted, you can come here and you can see every cover letter and every resume that was generated for you. You could also turn that feature off. You don't have to use it. If it requires a cover letter, we won't submit it for you if it's not there. Or if you want us to write a cover letter, but you want to use your resume, you can turn off custom resume. Um, and you don't have to use it, but you could always see the assets we create for you after the fact, after the application's been submitted. Any other questions? Yeah, of course. You're welcome.
Um, Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just going back to the generation questions regarding the cover letters and resume, if I have my own set of documents, can I just input that into Jack and then have Jack, I guess, reformat those instead of completely generating new?
No, at this time we can't. We're work like our product team is working on that. Um, but generating new documents that match your um styles and your formats is really difficult technically. So it's not as easy as just kind of like copy pasting, dropping different information. So we've been testing different ways to do that. I know that in like design, obviously, because that's my background, it's important. Like people care about what your resume looks like. So like a generic resume or like a bad, poorly designed resume is not going to do you any good. So we tested that. Like our first ICP, like our first customer were designers, and we tested keeping a non-Jack generated resume standard. We submitted 1,000 applications for one user, and then we submitted 1,000 applications, same resume, different name, but just different with custom resume, and the person without the designed resume still got more interviews due to the matching and like the updating. So That's like the data that we've tested and we collected and we know like what, whether having your standard designed resume and not customizing it per job versus customizing a non-designed resume. I would still go with the customized non-designed and let like your portfolio speak for your work. Um, but we're working towards that. Like that would be the goal where you can come on, get, in your setup, you set up what you want your resume to look like, and then all we do is just like plug in the data, right? So your resume always looks the same. But in that, we need to build a whole resume builder, and like it takes a lot more than just generating the content.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But as we like think about the internship that we're hiring for, like these are some of the projects that we're looking to have the interns work on. Is one, we're about to launch interview tracking. So because we have your inbox, we can like we know right now which ones are interviews, which ones are assessments. We're about to launch a page that's just like interview tracking within here, where you can just hide all your rejections. You know what you're still waiting on. You know like what your interviews are coming up, and you have your interview prep on here as well. As well as we've talked about resume generation. um, we have our devs just constantly working on adding more jobs, like, when companies switch ATS systems or things like that. So there's a lot of like really cool, I think, opportunities to like come up with new concepts and new things that we could add to make the tool more useful for job seekers. Yeah.
And then I guess just in your professional experience and also the experience that you've had with Jack, how useful would you say that cover letters are now in like today's workflow, workforce?
Yeah, unfortunately, like, so to be transparent, what we do is we help job seekers apply to jobs, but it's free for you all. So we don't make any money from it. So we make money from companies that hire us to help them find job seekers. The idea is that we have this essentially database of everyone that has applied to jobs, and we know who is progressing on different jobs. So we can say, okay, Kimberly is, getting all of these interviews for these type of jobs that require these skills. So when a hiring manager comes and they want to hire, a designer with these skills, we're like, hey, Kimberly's like actually interviewing at all these cool places. Like we don't tell them that, but we're like, this person's like hot right now. Like this is who you want to interview. And that's how we make money, is they trust that we have all this data and signals and we can connect them to great talent quickly. So that helps you because now we say, hey, we have this person who's really motivated to hire. They're not going to ghost you. Like they're in our system and we're able to match you to them. And why am I saying all this? Because we work with hiring managers, we work with recruiters, and I watch them not qualified, not qualified, not qualified in a second, right? Not even the 6-second resume review. Like it's so fast. And a lot of the work I'm doing these days is around product, and it's trying to understand what beliefs do recruiters have that are making them not qualify you so fast so that we can prove those beliefs wrong, right? Like, and not to fight them or to get rid of them as a job, but to give more like equal opportunity to people that are qualified for these jobs, but there's these maybe like wrong beliefs that are leading a recruiter to quickly go through resumes. So I say all this to say I see recruiters go through 100, profiles. They never scroll past the resume to see the cover. Like in our profile, you see an overview, you see logos, you see like key insights that we take from your profile. Um, you then see like how you matched to their job. Then you see a resume. Then you see a cover letter. When I'm watching users, they sometimes don't even get to your resume. So like they're not looking at your portfolio yet. They're not looking like something is quickly discounting you. Um, so I think a cover letter is important once a recruiter has decided that you're a person they want to interview. So it's not going to help you get more interviews. It's going to help you get further once you've been chosen for an interview. Um, so like it, I guess, adds like a little bit more context to your applications once it's been chosen. Um, the research we've done on all the hiring tools, we don't see anything right now that is like taking the content of your cover letter and using that to give you more points to like show you a higher score, etc. Um, we've tried to we've tried to build that in to us, to like our matching algorithm, because we want to take that information about your extracurriculars and things you're passionate about and things that motivate you. Um, and maybe make, like if we're hiring for a health tech company and they are focused on like helping, I don't know, terminally ill cancer patients, like this is actually one of our clients, terminally ill cancer patients find studies that they can be in so they can maybe have a better chance of living longer, etc. And maybe none of your work experience matches to this, but you have like a very close connection to someone that experienced this, or like you're very passionate about this. You would probably be the best designer to go work at that company, even if your experience is like 10% less than someone that is not connected to the cost or the mission. But there's no way for them to know that if we don't have that information. So I know I'm talking like way too long, but cover letters, I personally think, are not helping people land more interviews in how they're currently being used. They're helping you further you once you've been chosen to for an interview.
No, that was a perfect answer. Thank you so much. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just a like quick follow-up. So then regarding the resumes, I guess since they're only scanning it for like what you said, like zero point 0.6 seconds, would you recommend having just like, or like, and I know you said like how Jack generates this, like if I was just applying on my own, having the most like relevant keywords or basically what they're looking for at the very top, even if it's not like your strongest aspect of it, just to get past that initial screening?
I would, over the years, people have been pro and against having like an executive summary. I wouldn't call it an executive summary. I wouldn't even put a title on it. I would have a 1 to 2 sentence like description that is not AI generated, that maybe you have spent 3 days thinking about, of like how to describe yourself. Like, what are you passionate about? Like, why do you love design? Like, why, you are the person they should hire in a 1 to 2 sentence summary that's maybe includes, I think for you all, years of experience don't really matter at this point, but like later in your career, I would say if you had 7 years of experience, that was like at the top, so they don't have to do math of your experience. Um, but I would write something that shows like your passion, like what you want to work on up top, so that if they're reading that, like they can see you as a person that has some sort of, interest rather than just like projects, right? Because at this point, it's just projects and maybe some internships. Um, and recruiters can kind of see through that when it's not like real paid experience, right? Or like real experience at companies. So I would say that it's like having something at the top that's differentiating you. Um, we've tried all sorts of crazy shit with our in our projects. Like we've done things where instead of a resume, you upload a document that just has a link to a video, and then it's like a video like specific to that company that has like, hey, this is why I want to work for you, or this is why I'm a good fit. Um, we've tried where the executive summary is like, instead of saying some AI, BS here, like I recorded this video for you and it just has a link, right? Like I think these days you have to stand out. I post jobs all the time because for Hire with Jack, we are essentially kind of like acting as a recruiting, right? Like an AI recruiting agency. And I post jobs and people don't even read the job. Like Jack is not for design we are hiring, but most of the time it's like Jack is helping X company hire for this role. But people don't read and send me, "Hey, I saw you're hiring a data engineer." And it's like, I love Jack and the Jack mission and etc. And it's like, I'm not, you didn't even read the description. It's hard for me to now take time out of my day to respond to you when I know that you just copy pasted automated something. So that's kind of why we built Jack. We think that no one's looking at you type your name and your email into an application, but you can then spend time writing like a really great message that actually connects, that is human, that is like truly like, hey, I'm really passionate about this. I actually did this research, or like, I built this. If anyone sends me a message saying, I created this video for you, I will watch the video, right? And I will watch probably half of it, even if it sucks. Like, I'll watch the whole thing if it doesn't suck. So I think it's about like being really intentional about where your effort goes and going above and beyond for companies that you're really excited for. So like let Jack submit an application, go through your application history instead of worrying about like what your design looks like. look at the company, try and figure out who's hiring, like especially if it's a startup or a small company, and say, hey, I actually spent an hour looking at your site. Like if someone sends me an email saying, I spent some time looking at Jack, and I think you could really benefit from doing some research to understand if interview tracking should be in there, how you would build a resume, or like I think it would be really helpful as a designer to have a resume builder in Jack. Here's like a quick mock-up, right? Can I add it to my portfolio? You're not even pitching me, right? You're just telling me that you're so interested in my product that you went above and beyond, thought about it, did some research, and like and now that message is like, wow, like I'm messaging my finance team being like, do we have budget to hire another person? Because like that's kind of like the message I want to see rather than just like the automatic LinkedIn message that gets written for you. Like it's funny when I open my LinkedIn, I have copy paste messages because LinkedIn writes the same message for everyone. Um, it's sad that this is the world we've got into where it takes that much above and beyond to get a job. But if you're trying to play within like how it works right now and how to like get people's attention, that's how I would go about it. If I was looking for a job like fresh out of school, um, I would think about how can I get experience? Okay, I'm gonna pick every single day instead of applying to jobs, Jack is applying. I'm gonna look at one job it applied to, and instead of doing like 360 days of design or whatever that thing is called, I don't know if it's still around, like I'm going to do a design project every single day for one of the companies and post on LinkedIn, right? Like my 360 days is gonna be, hey, at Jack founder or at Jack design team, like here's how I think your product could help more people. I love your mission, right? Not like a takedown piece, but like this, and then send them a message saying, "Hey, I posted this on LinkedIn, like thought you could benefit." Like that is in my head, like how I would approach it, like something completely different.
Okay, thank you so much for your insight. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
of course. Any other questions? I think we're at time, right? We said 40.
Yeah,
Cool.
perfect.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you all
thank
for
you
joining.
for, yeah.
If you want to reach out on LinkedIn, I'm on there. Yeah, if you're applying for the job, I will be reviewing. I do click on all the portfolios and look at portfolios. So please, feel free to apply. And yeah, I'm excited to maybe talk to some of you a little bit more.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.